Hi everyone, welcome back to another tutorial, and today's tutorial is going to be this pinwheel ring that I had showed you in my previous video that I would be making for all of you to make this really gorgeous ring. Now this ring can also be used for a pair of earrings or for a pendant. You can make this into a pendant. I kind of stayed within the flower kind of look because again we're doing summer projects and I'm trying to get you guys some different kinds of things to make for summer to wear out on the beach, to the park, do summer activities, all kinds of stuff. So this ring is really quick to sew up. It's not a hard project to make. I am going to show you what you need to make this ring. Now this band, I didn't make this in a stretch cord. I sewed this band together. I'm not a big fan of sewing on bands because the thread over time stretches a lot, and then there's no way of wearing your ring after because it just falls off your finger. So that's why I like to stick with my stretch cord. So I will show you how to do this in stretch cord today, or you can sew it on, it's up to you. I just found it really hard getting the stretch cord through my 11/0 seed beads here, and if I have that problem then I'll have to show you how to sew it on, and it's really not that hard to do. Now for this ring you will be needing a 14mm Rivoli. And this one here is a black diamond, so I'll be using this 14mm Rivoli. You will need some black thread, and I'm just using Nymo, and it's size D Nymo thread. You will need a size 12 beading needle or size 10, but because I'm using Charlotte beads today, I'm going to use a size 12 beading needle, just so I don't have problems getting through the Charlottes, and even then it's difficult getting through Charlotte beads. But the only reason I'm using these 13/0 Charlottes, which is the same as a 15/0, just a teeny tiny bit smaller, is I don't have this gold in a 15/0, and it kind of matches the gold that I'm using today in this video. You will need some 3mm fire polish beads. I always use 3mm fire polish in my bands. I just like the way they lay and how comfortable they all fit together. So I am using an 11/0 Czech seed bead, and I'm kind of keeping my colors the same. You will need a 4mm bicone, and this is Swarovski 4mm. And you will need a pair of scissors. You will need a piece of stretch cord. I usually cut about 8 to 10 inches off depending on the size of your ring. And again, 12 beading needle, and that's it. That's all you're going to need. With the Swarovskis you only need 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You're only going to need 12 Swarovski crystals. Oh goodness, we forgot the most important part of the ring. So let's see what we have in Superduos. We have Superduos here. Because I'm doing a lot of gold, I will pick black Superduos for this particular ring. I think those are my reject blacks with the holes that are not all open on both ends, and I do believe I did order more black ones. So I'm going to have to go dig my black Superduos out because they are not in this case here at all. And I don't have just gold. I think that's like a bronze color. Yeah, that's not gold. Yeah, so I'm going to go grab my new tube of black Superduos because these ones here, a lot of the holes are not open in this. So these are kind of like my rejects. So I will be back. Okay, so we've gotten our Superduos. One thing I want to say that is when you're using Superduos, for some reason, a lot of the holes, you got to make sure both holes are open on Superduos. You hate to get your project done and then you get a bead that has only one hole working on it. You need to check every single hole on your Superduos. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Now for this project, let's pick up, we need 12 Superduos, and we are working with our 50-nose or Charlottes, and hopefully they all go through my needle. So you're going to pick up, and I'm going to check every single hole on my Superduos. So I'm picking up 1 15, 1 Superduo, 1 15, 1 Superduo, and I'm going to do that until I have 12 of them on my needle. And I'm going to always check to make sure that both my Superduos have both holes that are functionable. And I'm going to continue to do this till I have 12. Alternating from 115 to 1 Superduo. So let's see what we have so far. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and we need 3 more. There's 10, 11, and 12. Alright, so I've started with a 15-0 on this end, and I'm finishing with just a Superduo on that end. So bring these down all the way to near the end, leaving yourself a little tail here, enough to thread your needle and weave your ends through. And I'm just going to run my needle back up through all of these beads from the tail end up. So through the 15, through every single bead, so I can form a circle. Like so. Okay. Now you can tie this off here if you want. So I'll do that just so the ring is secured. And I would always, if you're using Nymo thread, I would dab some glue on this. Or nail polish, clear nail polish, it works. So I'm just going to tie a little knot, trying not to catch my 15-0 in there. And then I'm just going to take my needle and run it through a couple of beads. So back through one of the Superduos right beside my knot. And through a couple of beads up there. And just pull my knot kind of inside that Superduo. Okay, so now you have your ring. You're working out of a ring. You're exiting out of the bottom of a Superduo. Now you're going to go into the top hole of your Superduo. And pull. And now for this round, check in each one of your Superduos that both holes are open. You're just going to stick a Superduo between each one like so. And you know, just for my luck, it seems, because I have a few times did my projects without paying any attention to my Superduos, and found that I would get to that round, and I have done a lot of bead weaving to find that hole. I couldn't even bust through it with a bead reamer without breaking the actual Superduo, and I've broken a lot of Superduos even with my size 10 beading needle, trying to open the hole with it. So I'd be poking it and poking it and pushing it. So I really didn't want to pull my bead weaving apart, but in the end you end up breaking the Superduo if it's that bad. Some of them have just a little bit closed, like this one here. It still has some in there, so I'll try a bead reamer to see if I can get it through that hole without breaking the tip of the Superduo. And as you can see, this one is clogged really bad, and this bead reamer isn't. Oh, it did. And then just keep your bead reamer, because the ends will be sharp inside of that hole. You want to just keep your bead filed down so it doesn't cut your thread. So not every one of them is that easy to open the hole, so I'll use this one since it worked for me. So I'm just putting one Superduo between them all. And you're only putting Superduos between the Superduos and nothing else. Okay, so we're at our last one. So you're going to go through the top of your last Superduo, the top end there, and through the bottom of the very first Superduo you put on. So now you're ready to put on your second row of Superduos. So make sure your thread's good and tight. Put it through the top hole of that last row you just did, and start going back around, adding one more in here as well. So now you're going to go into a third row of Superduos, keeping your thread pulled nice and tight, because it will loosen up if you allow it to. That one's clogged, and I don't want to open it right this minute. Keeping this pulled nice and tight. Don't forget. You'll see why you need to keep this tight. And I'm just adding one Superduo again. So we have 3 rows of Superduos. Okay. It's kind of looking like that, like a little flower. Gosh, I haven't worked with a size 12. Okay, this one is just a little bit clogged. See if I could push this through with the bead reamer. This is a very handy tool. It's nice to have. It's a good way to take the sharp edges off of some of your crystals too. So again, this one was easy to break through. And I'm just going to file the hole down because it is sharp, and I will use this one. So that's what you can do, is all your Superduos that are clogged on one end, is set them aside, get yourself a bead reamer. These are really cheap, and it says bead reamer right on this. This is really good for the sharp edges that are on Swarovski crystals, is to use a bead reamer. And that will prevent you from getting your beads, your threads cut. Some of the edges on those crystals are super sharp, and they cut your thread instantly. Okay, I'm getting ready to put on my last Superduo. So I'm going through the top hole of the previous round and the bottom hole of the round we just put on. So I'm kind of basically stepping up. Okay, Now this is where you want to keep it nice and tight. Okay? So what you're going to do is exit again out of the top hole of this round of that Superduo, keeping your work tight. Okay? Pick up a 15 or a Charlotte, whatever you're using, exit through the next hole. And no Superduos now, just using Charlottes or 15s. Okay? And this is where we want to put our Rivoli in as soon as we get a few more beads on. If by chance your second row comes loose like that, pull the thread on the end of your very first Superduo you put on, snug it up like so, and then tighten it. Easy peasy. Okay? It's really hard to keep it tight right now till we get a few rounds going in these 15-0s. I'm just going through each hole on the top of the Superduos. You don't even have to add your Rivoli in just yet, but you will soon. See how this is coming loose again on me? So I'm going back here to the first round, first bead I put on. I'm pulling that round tight, pulling it, tiki, and pulling that tight. Okay? So I don't want all my beads loose in here. Okay, you're getting there. And there again. And I'm finding this keeps coming loose on me, so I'm just going to keep going back and tightening it. There we go. Alright, this is where you kind of want to stick your Rivoli in. You can put it face up, face down, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to stick mine in there face down and pull my thread tight around that, holding the Rivoli in place, trying to hold my beads tight, thread tight, and now I'm just going to put my last 15-0 on that, pulling this nice and tight, and then I'm going to go around all these beads that we just put on a few times if I can, as many times as I can. And this will tighten up your row, last row, even more. The more times you go around, the better it is. So just go around and through all these beads, nice and tight. And of course Ruby gets a flippin' knot. I want to make sure that that's in there secure, and that's what it should look like on the front. I just love that. That black diamond is gorgeous. Okay. Through here. It's starting now. I can let go of the thread and it's not poof popping open like a flower blossom. So it's still not, I haven't gone around completely yet, the entire round yet, so I'm just going to keep going here, just securing it in place, and you probably will bend your needle a little bit. Okay, so that's pretty secure in there. So there's the front of your work and there's the back. They're both exactly the same. I think the black and gold look really sharp together. Now, the next round we're going to do is we're going to add our Swarovski crystals in here. And I'm going to grab myself a drink and I'll be right back.